Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's industry-presented webinar, FIT, the Business of Fitness, How to Grow Your Business with a Team of One and a Budget of None. A few housekeeping things before we get started. If you do have a question during the webinar, please type it into the question area within the GoToWebinar navigation, and we'll get to as many as we can in our allotted time. If your question goes unanswered, don't worry. We'll take all the questions from today's webinar and turn it into a Q&A blog that we'll post on the ACSM website. We also encourage you to join the conversation about today's webinar on Twitter by using the hashtag ACSMWebinar. Today's webinar is sponsored and presented by MINDBODY. MINDBODY is the leading technology platform for the wellness services industry. Local wellness entrepreneurs worldwide use MINDBODY's integrated software and payments platform to run, market, and build their businesses. Consumers use MINDBODY to easily find, engage, and transact with wellness providers in their local communities. One continuing education credit, courtesy of MINDBODY, will be emailed to all participants after the webinar, along with a PDF copy of today's presentation. You should receive the CEC and slides in an email tomorrow afternoon. There is no need to email ACSM asking about CEC credit. Today's webinar presenter is KK Hart. She's a MINDBODY certified consultant. KK owns and operates 4 fitness studios and a luxury beauty bar, and is the CEO of a boutique marketing agency specializing in the health and fitness industry. With extensive experience as an international fitness and business expert, KK regularly features on Fox and Huffington Post, among other media outlets. She has a master's degree in health and business and over a decade of experience in helping fitness, wellness, and beauty businesses grow. As a consultant, KK coaches on strategies for revenue, retention, pricing, sales, and marketing. You can follow her on Twitter at @KKFitCoach. So with that, I introduce you to KK Hart.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are. I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you about the business of fitness. And I'm willing to guess, with the number of attendees that we have on this call today, I'm reaching you at a number of different stages in your career, whether you own a gym or a fitness studio currently, maybe you work at one, or work in the health and fitness industry and are curious about this really amazing opportunity to be a part of the business side of fitness. I can imagine that there's a number of you on our webinar today that are also really passionate about what you're doing, and maybe you're looking for ways to do more of it. And I can tell you that because I know that I am you. And so it's really nice to have each and every one of you on the call, and really hope to provide you value today. Just a little bit about me, since Nate did an amazing job of making me sound really cool. I absolutely love what I do, and you're going to see that I influence my personality and my thoughts and my insights, but also 14 years of experience in this specific industry into every single thing that I do, including our time together today. I love questions, and there's not a single question that I won't answer or can't answer, and I would love for you to just continue to keep those going in the chat box, and I'll get to as many as I can at the end of our webinar. As Nate alluded to, I'm both a TV expert and a one-on-one business coach. Where that really helps me is, as a TV expert, of course, I spend a lot of time on national and local television helping to educate both the lay population and then also fitness and industry experts such as yourselves, to make sure that you understand that at the end of the day, this is a business for many of us and something that we would desire to grow in. And I believe in something called getting your fit together. And I think that that is probably the most influential shift in our particular market. The reason being is that at the end of the day, we all started in this industry because we wanted to help people and we wanted to grow in our skill set. And sometimes we've lost track of the fact that it is a business and it needs to be run as such. So I call it being fit, or EFIT. I believe there are 3 principles. These are my core principles that I'm going to weave into our conversation today. And that is to have fun. That one seems really simplistic and influential, but as we talk about marketing and growth, I'll be the first to say that if you're not enjoying running a business or being a part of the business that you're in, find something else to do. Find another aspect of the industry, find a different gym, find a different work environment, because our passion is what helps people more than anything, right? They feed off of our energy. The second is to be functional, and this one I'm really unapologetic about, guys. At the end of the day, yes, we must love what we do, but we must find a way to make it functional. Just like we tell our clients, yes, you must strength train, because not only is it good for you, but there's ways to make it fun and interesting, and it's the same thing for the business side of fitness. And then the third is the nearest and dearest to my heart, and this is where I may push you guys today, and that's to be flexible. I'm going to share with you some tips and some tricks and some best practices to make the business grow beyond your wildest dreams. But I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to take you thinking likely very different than you did before. So overall, I call that helping you.
I'm sorry, I want to interrupt you real quick. I think your slides may be stuck. On the first slide. That's what I'm seeing anyway.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for letting me know.
There you go.
You should be seeing it now. Yeah. No, thank you. So with that, I believe in telling you to get your fit together, and that means both inside and outside, right? So in our industry, we're really great about working on the fitness that's the external, the physical. Today, I'm going to go deep into the business, the internal, that helps you to create a better fitness business so that you have it for years to come, and you can help more people. At the end of the day, I think it's safe to say that we desire to help people regardless of how. And in order to make your business stronger and to help more people, we must understand and grow the business of fitness. And that's why I'm so passionate to help you to focus on thriving instead of just surviving. So that's just a little bit about me and what makes me tick and what makes me passionate to share. Now, here's a brief agenda and how we're going to go through this format today. One, and this is so important, we're going to go over the basic principles that are overlooked by small business owners in our industry, and specifically how they relate to marketing. Two, we're going to go through the general measures of success in marketing. If you don't have an MBA or a business degree, I'm going to give you a mini MBA in fitness business today. Three, we're going to go through the basics of growth and promotion, specifically, again, for our industry as small and medium-sized businesses. Then I'm going to give you my hacks, my best tips and tricks that you can take and start applying tomorrow, because I know how important and timely that would be for you and for the people that you serve. And then finally, I'm going to spend a little bit of time helping you to devise an action plan to focus on strategic changes and opportunities for you to really position your business for long-term growth and success. Again, we love what we do, and we want to do more and more and more of it to help as many people as we can. So who's ready to learn some strategies that's going to help you to learn and grow with hundreds of thousands of dollars in free marketing and PR? I don't know about you, but it gets me really excited, almost like Homer here. And I'm going to say with you a big woohoo! We're going to do it. You guys ready? So today, my goal is simple. I'm going to help you to become your own marketing expert. And that's going to be focusing on a number of things that are strategic and that are intentional and based on return on investment. You're going to learn how to create demand for your business using profitability as a guide. So I'm going to take a step back for a second. I'm going to encourage you to use the chat box that's over here on the corner. And I want you to put in 1 or 2 words that help you to think about marketing. So when you think about marketing, what comes to mind first? And this is really a great word cloud analysis, all the things that I think we all kind of lump into marketing. But we have 800 plus people on our call today, and I'm curious where, as fitness business people and people who are not yet integrated in the business of fitness, where you think marketing really is for you. So take a moment, think about it, and then put it in the chat box. So I believe that many times we think of marketing as advertising, right? That one tends to stand out here on the screen, or promotion, or perhaps just, what we look like online and what people think of us. But I think it's important to see and to know that marketing is so much more. Marketing is both strategic, it's analytical, it's intentional, and it's a very important part of the business of fitness. In fact, I would assert that it is the most important part of our business. And yet, many times in our industry, we come to this mindset that we can't afford to market, or that the things that we desire to do can be very expensive. And so what I want to liberate you with today is that you can market your fitness business with a team of one and a budget of none. And that's almost unheard of in the world that we live in today. But we have a unique ability to reach people on a very personal platform, and that is what I'm going to work through with you today. So first, we're going to dive in right away into the important principles often overlooked by fitness business owners. And here's why this matters. One of these 5 are likely an area that you have not paid enough attention to or have not yet considered in your desire to grow in the knowledge of fitness and business. I'm going to go through all 5 briefly. The first is profitability. I would tell you, over 14 years of experience, and even now as the industry has grown, this is the #1 area that I find overlooked by people in our industry. Sometimes in fitness, it's almost viewed as a dirty word. It's inappropriate to want to make money or to be profitable in your business. But here's what I would say to you. If you believe in what you're doing and you believe that what you're doing is helping people, then we must make money and we must be profitable in order to do it for the long term. Because then we can help as many people as we possibly can. That's our own personal mission statement, is to help people as much as we possibly can. And so your guide to doing that is profitability, and we're going to spend a lot of time on that as we talk about marketing tactics that are great for a budget of none and a team of one. The second, and this is usually the detriment to the fitness business, is operating expense, or OPEX. OPEX is one of those things that we consider a cost of doing business, and that is true to an extent, but operating expenses actually really do cut our ability to help people. And here's why. If we have a very high number of expenses, it's going to be quite challenging to manage our operations. And so because of that, we're going to lack profitability, lack the ability to grow, and lack the ability to really help our core clientele. And I've said it a number of times now, and I'll say it again, that's why we're here, that's why we do what we do. So keeping expenses to the most minimum that you can will not only maximize your profitability, which is at the end of the day, that is our end goal as business owners, but it will also, once again, enhance your ability to help more people. The third is attendance. Now, attendance can be viewed a number of ways depending on what part of the industry that you're in. I'm going to talk specifically about capacity and utilization of your particular resources. If you're working in a gym environment or a box environment or a boutique fitness studio, this is essential. Not only is attendance important because we have a huge retention hurdle in the fitness industry. I'm willing to guess, and statistics state, that year over year, we retain only 10% of the clients that we meet in the year prior. So that means if you meet 100 clients in a year and help 100 clients in that year, the following year, you will likely have about 10 of those clients retain the following year. So attendance plays hand in hand with retention. The way we use it on the business side of fitness is also to help utilize capacity management, meaning if you have a finite number of equipment, you have a finite number of square footage to use, which we all do, how do we maximize that opportunity? How do we utilize our revenue per square foot to help us to get our classes fuller, our personal training more extensive, but without hurting the need of the end user, which I'm sure many of us would agree is to be as personalized as possible. So yes, it's great to have great, large, maxed out classes, but not at the expense of what we're delivering as a service. Along with that, retention really plays a big part because in the world we live in today, everything has to be personal. And that doesn't matter if your clientele is younger, they're more tenured. People want to feel heard, they want to feel known, and they want to feel connected to you and your offering, whether you're the business owner or you're the instructor or trainer. So retention is absolutely key to helping not only that hurdle of keeping your business going, but helping as many people as possible, because we all know the thing about our industry is it's life-changing, but it's also very easy for people to drop off and fall off the tracks. And if our mission is to help as many people as possible for the long term, retention is absolutely key. The last is client lifetime value. And this is an area that may be a little out of your comfort zone today, but I'm going to talk to you about why it matters for clients to be retained. It's why it matters for them to attend regularly, and why that matters to your bottom line. And it's really quite simple. The client you help that first month is only as helpful to you and to their own goals as they are the longer that you spend time with them. So what that means is there is a lifetime value to clients that goes well beyond your first couple interactions. If you can help a client longer term, not only do they retain their success, or they become consistent or compliant, which is a term we use often on the medical side, that client also has a value that's much greater to you as a business. So for instance, selling a client a class package for $300 that they never use limits their client lifetime value to $300, because until they use that class package, you never really get any more out of them from a business side. And if they're not utilizing your services, you're also not able to help them on the physical need that they have. So that's essential for running your business, to understand that the client that you can retain for a longer period of time at a more favorable cost is a client that you will have for life. And that is our goal. So there are some widely utilized measures of success in marketing. And again, if you haven't gone through a business program or gone through a measures of success program that talks about specifically the 4 or 5 P's of marketing, I'm going to educate you a little bit on that today, because I really think it's an area that in the fitness business we could improve upon tremendously. So depending on your school of thought, there used to be 4 P's of marketing. And I think that's likely true in other industries. There's product, there's price, there's place, and there's promotion. But again, I would assert to you today that in our industry, people are equally as important. And so the 5 P's of marketing are really essential to understanding how to make your fitness business not only a legitimate business, but a long-term business for life that's viable. And we're going to go through all of those. When you think about all the elements in your business, it doesn't matter how small each of those may seem. I want you to think about how it helps you to position the business more effectively in the market. For instance, the 5 P's are key marketing elements, but really all they are is to help you to be strategic in how people value and how they perceive your business. You know, they call this the marketing mix in a business class, and that's really essentially the things that come together to create your brand and to create your business in a very consistent manner. If you want to grow, the 5 P's can absolutely help you to think about what makes you uniquely excellent in your area of business. And here's why this matters. In the world we live in today, especially the highly competitive markets that we're often facing, we must differentiate from our competitors to our consumers. In fact, I think it's the only way to stay alive in the economic marketplace that we have today, as well as the really dynamic growing demand for the fitness industry. So as we work our way through each of these P's, I think it's going to help you to think about those areas of your business, those areas that you can improve upon, areas that you can change. And at the end of the day, it's really all about meeting the needs of your target market. So let's talk about that marketing mix, because everything surrounds your target market. So your products. Well, let's think about this for a second. Many of us work in a service-based industry, so we're not necessarily sharing or selling products, but our product is our service, it's our training, it's our class offering, it's our lessons, and so it's very important to be specific. What are the physical attributes of what you provide? How can we explain the features of the products to the services and to how we specifically benefit our target market? So in other words, what's in it for me? What is it about your service offering that's unique and applicable to your target market? Think about how you differ from what your competitors provide. I think by understanding how your product or your service really solves your market's problem, that is going to help you to differentiate from your competition in a way that's crucial, especially in the fitness business that we are in today. Price. Now, knowing what you charge for your particular service, it's really important that it covers more than just your expenses, but that you turn a profit. We've talked about this a little bit already. It must fit with what the market allows all at the same time. So there is an algorithmic process to creating your pricing. And it goes beyond just what are your competitors doing, and it goes beyond just what your gut says. And I'll tell you guys, oftentimes when I meet with business owners as a coach, there's a little bit of a dissent within them where they feel like they have to cheapen their price in order to increase their market share. And that may or may not be the truth given where you are, given what your industry provides. But instead, we have to think about the word value. We have to think about what that price means to the end consumer and fit that for your business, for your line of the industry, and for your local market place. That leads us right to that. So how are your services delivered? Are you a digital format? Are you in-person, one-on-one? Are you group? That will help you to figure out the best way to deliver your services to your customers. But even more importantly, putting into mind your target market, where you are, where you desire to be, you're going to want to understand exactly where you are compared to where you'd like to be. So for instance, if you're in an area of town that's maybe not as favorable for a high-end luxury service, that's where it's really important to consider how your pricing, how your service offering affects your target market. So you can see this marketing mix is all very interrelated. Where you are, what you offer, how you offer it, it all comes back to can you fit the need of your target market? And that brings me to promotion. So we have to really think, what are the methods that we're using to help potential customers to find us? And that's essentially what we think of as our marketing, but it's so much more. Everything that I just touched on really relates to your promotional needs, from what you deliver as a service line, how you price it, where you're located, and even how you deliver your classes, your services, your lessons. All of that is essential to understanding the needs of your target market and how to potentially differentiate you from your customers. And then the fifth is not on the screen, but it's so much bigger than each of these that you see, and that is your people. That's your fifth piece. Who is in your business? Who are those people that are impacting the success of your business? Is it your trainers? Is it yourself? Is it your front office team? Is it the person who calls clients to follow up? If that person is rude, any of those people, if they're not connected to your vision and your mission as a business, you'll lose customers. You'll lose that what's in it for me. You'll lose your differentiator, because that is essential to the success of your business. Your people must live, breathe, and share your vision. I say it a different way. I say your vibe affects your tribe. And so who you are as an owner, as an operator, maybe as a manager, or even as a single trainer, you affect everyone around you, including your customers, but also your colleagues. And so an essential part of this marketing mix is understanding that there is so much more to just delivering an awesome service or having a good price or being in the right place or having the right positioning for how you deliver your classes or your services or even how you promote yourself. Your people really do encapsulate all of this into one major message to your target market, which is either work with us or not. And that's the difference between a successful fitness business and one that struggles. So I'm going to give you some different mindsets today based on what we just shared. So instead of focusing on just the products, right, or just the service that you offer, for instance, if you're just running a boot camp, focus less on the fact that the boot camp burns calories and, does all of these cool things with these new equipment, but instead focus on the solution. Talk about the needs the client has and how you meet that. I think in our industry, we sometimes forget to tie features to benefits. So we talk a lot about this awesome new machine we have, or this, kick-butt new trainer who knows what they're doing. But as we're interacting with that core clientele, they need a little bit more than that. They need to know how that relates specifically to their need as a solution, not just a feature. Instead of talking about place, where you're located, how you deliver your services, focus on a cross-channel presence. And that means Deliver your services in different ways and decide what's best for your core clientele. I think a lot of times my clients are surprised by the fact that their clients would like to do a lot more with them than just the one-on-one training or just the group training. In fact, oftentimes they want to hear from them virtually, whether it's email marketing, text message, pick up the phone. It's just essential that in the world of 2017 that we live in today, we focus on access more than just a physical location. So if you're a brick and mortar location, I'm going to encourage you to think about your digital landscape, and we're going to talk about that. And if you're not a brick and mortar location, I'm going to encourage you to find ways to connect with people on a much deeper basis because they need and desire that in order to move forward. How about price? So instead of talking about numbers, focus on value. And this is essential because we live in a world, and we're in a fitness business today, where there is a range of offerings from $9 to $209 and even beyond that. So instead of talking about just the bare bones dollar amount, it's really important that we focus on value. We tie those features to benefits, and then we create that solution that makes sense to the end user, because it's not just about cost or margins or competition, but it's about what matters to them. It matters on their value and what their needs are. And you're going to hear that a lot throughout the next couple of slides. And instead of promotion, which I think this is an area where our industry often, we do it very in your face, very assertively, but I think what we need to do is use promotion as a guide to become more educational. Many times it looks really cool to show, you know, your best trainer doing these crazy burpee jump jack push-ups that like 1% of the population can do. But why not relate to your end user who may not be able to do that and focus on the education of why burpees are great, why doing a plank jack is effective for certain things and not effective for others. It's important that we realize that promotion does not have to be shameless and it does not have to be seedy, but instead it can be educationally based to help people to see the value of your service that goes way beyond price, place, or even what your value proposition is. It's all about educating our end consumers and our potential customers to live a healthier, happier life. And I think that's just one of the areas that we can truly improve upon as we focus on the business of fitness. So I'm likely just guessing, talking through those 5 Ps can sound a little bit confusing. It looks a little bit like this chalkboard, right? It's like, okay, where do I start? Yeah, I've got to create a strategy. Then I have to work on my people. Then I've got to get on social media. And then I have to tell people why we're great. And it just seems to be a lot. So I'm going to give you a moment to pause here for a second. And I'm going to ask you to think about that 1 or 2 word thought process that came to your mind when you thought about marketing. I'm willing to guess you see it here on the blackboard. But what I really would like you to see is that these things are interrelated. One thing does not make your business great. It is not important to have the best service, to be in the great place, or have the most unique delivery of your format. It's not important to be the most promotional and be out there and have the most followers on Instagram. And it's also not important to have the lowest or highest price, but this is a fully integrated process. And when you're fully integrated, I think you have a chance to really understand the needs of your target audience. And at the end of the day, again, we are going to help more people by understanding their needs. So take a moment and think about that original thought process that you've had about marketing. And then I'm going to help you to think very differently today. Okay, so how do we start putting this into practice? I'm going to shift gears a little bit and go into a much deeper dive on some tactics that you can use starting tomorrow. First, I'm going to help you to understand how to put these 5 Ps into fruition, right? Put it into action. Understanding your target audience is likely the #1 area that we can grow and improve in on the business side of fitness. At the end of the day, we need to know what we're offering, and then we need to create our value proposition to really understand how do we leverage and communicate that to our end users or potential customers. That's where marketing really steps in, and we create a strategy around that value proposition and around what we'd like to offer. The next step is to create a fully integrated marketing plan that helps you to see that, remember we said it was more than just one tactic. It was more than just a couple of posts on social media or running an ad special, but integrating the needs of the customer to our offering, to creating our value proposition that differentiates us, and utilizing it really specifically in our marketing strategy. And that's how we get to our target audience. We must understand that they know more and desire more than we're likely giving them now. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have an introductory offer, which I highly recommend for your business. Something that's specific, that's tangible, and gets people in the door. When you offer that introductory offer, it's likely at a discounted rate. But what often is overlooked in our industry is that the value proposition is missing. Simply offering someone their first training session for free is not enough for them to, one, come in the door, shockingly, and two, it's not enough for them to convert, meaning to become a lifetime customer for you, and that's our goal. We want to help them be fit for life. So that value proposition has to be very clear. Your free class or your $10 class or your $10 training is important to you because it's going to edify your life in these three ways, customer. Then we deliver that message through a clear marketing strategy. Perhaps we post it on Facebook, perhaps we have signage throughout the gym, and then perhaps we do some email marketing to help our current clients to remember why they started and share it with their friends and their family. That's where our marketing plan becomes very complex because it will have a number of different areas that we deliver this and tracking to measure what was effective. So it's great to have a marketing strategy, but it's even more essential to take action and implement that marketing strategy through the use of a plan. Once we do that, we not only have tactics in place, but we have a way of measuring, tracking, and delivering upon those tactics in a way that's absolutely unfounded, and we will always be able to know what's effective. And that's how we reach our target audience. You measure, you track, you see what works, and then you do it again and again and again. So the basics of growth and promotion for small business comes down to a couple of key tactics, and these won't be shocking to you, but I want to speak specifically on how to improve in these areas. So the first is search engine marketing and search engine optimization. They're actually quite different. Search engine marketing is how people find you through the search engine platforms such as Google and Bing and Yahoo. Search engine optimization is the organic method in which that people find you that actually has very little to do with what people see and more with how you structure your website, the keywords that you use to build your headings and the back end of your digital landscape. And it's what tells the search engines this is a good opportunity for this particular client to find you. So for instance, if you're a gym, and your search engine optimization is set up in your local market to reach people who are looking for personal training, general fitness, you will be found a lot greater if your search engine optimization is on point and at a lot lower cost. Because your search engine optimization does not rely on advertising, and it does not rely on anything that you do externally. It's like the framework of your home. If you build your home on a good framework, you don't really have to worry about interior decorating after the fact. You set up a really great, nice home with a lot of pretty pictures and great landscape, and you really just maintain that ongoing. And that's what search engine optimization does for you. Search engine marketing is a whole other beast. Currently, search engine marketing really lives with Google AdWords. However, I always get in our industry pushback on the fact that ads don't work or that they're expensive, and that can be true. Ads only work if you're both strategic and consistent, and that's true for all marketing. The key to it is understanding that value proposition to the client, and then again, having an integrated plan and a strategy to get the word out, both through advertising and then through other areas to communicate, and we'll talk about those as well. The other important thing to consider is to educate ourselves as a fitness industry on why Facebook and Google manage us the way we do. How do they choose our site to come up higher on the search engine rankings? How do they find us? And more importantly, how do they deliver the right customer to us? Because once we do that, we can outsmart their process and definitely find more clients this way. So this is one of my favorite things to talk about is social media marketing. So quite different from being found on Facebook or being found on Google rather, or being found through, the web crawling aspects of the search engine. Social media is one area that we can really own, right? There's algorithmic reasons that your ads or your organic posts are shown to people, but there's actually more of a controllable media here. I'm poking a little fun here on this slide when I say that we've got to stop posting just a bunch of pictures and memes to our social media. As a fitness business, it's extremely important that we change the way that we are social. And what I mean by that is we have to find things that are actually effective to grow our business through social media, not just to put pretty pictures and funny things. So that's going to take improving how we represent ourselves to see growth, and that comes from action. Using what I call 399 tactics first. That's 3 tactics that can be used to optimize your digital landscape on social media, on your Facebook, on your Instagram. And some of them are very simple. The next is to advertise only what makes you money, focusing on call to action. So what that means is using your money wisely to create a return on what you're spending. So if you are a multi-use facility and you make 70% of your revenue in one area, but you're running ads on the other 30%, it really doesn't make any sense. If we're doing something to the best of our ability, we need to enhance that with our advertising dollars. So if you do mostly group training and a little bit of personal training, 70% group training, 30% personal training, the algorithm here is that you would spend more money, more advertising, more effort on capitalizing on that strength and actually doing more to get the word out there about your group, even though it's where you're stronger. And the last is using tools that are focused on return on investment. Guys, I'll be honest and share with you that there are probably a million different tactics and tools thrown at us every single day in our industry for how to be found, how to have people like us on Facebook, how to have our ads get more reach. But at the end of the day, if we keep focusing on return on investment, we will not go wrong and we will be able to reach our target customers. So let's take a deeper dive into this. I'm going to give you my best hacks for search engine and for social media marketing. So the first is, many of us today on the call are focused on our local market. So how better to improve in our local market than to use local listings as our guide, utilizing our Yelp listing, utilizing Groupon or the ClassPass, and focus on using those measures only to help us with profitability. So we cannot grow our business using Yelp or Groupon, but we can help to create a local presence a lot more efficiently and effectively that way. And that boosts your search engine. In fact, if you Google the name of your business or the type of your business into Google along with your local city or state, you'll find that always near the top are Yelp, Groupon, and some of these other local listings, because it's how search engines work. They look for the largest, broadest ability to give the client what they're desiring via their search. So again, we want to utilize that from a no-cost perspective. And then when it's time to spend money on ads, we want to buy ads only that are effective for us. They only make us money, and stop spending money on ads that don't. Only the areas in which that we're strong. With social media, it's actually quite different. If you think of it this way, with search engine marketing, people find us because they're looking for us, right? They're putting in a keyword and they're hoping and helping to find us through those keywords. With social media marketing, it's quite different. There are target markets that you can set up in your advertising, but when you're posting organically, you're essentially reaching anyone who's decided that you're a fit for them, and it's a lot less strategic unless you start using strategic tools to find the right fit customer for you. I believe that videos are the future of social media marketing, because if you think about your own personal experience on there, many times you're on your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, insert social media here, and we spend our time scrolling aimlessly. There's a phrase in the marketing industry that's called stop the scroll, and that is essential for what you'd like to do to grow your online presence through social media. The use of videos really help you to capture attention from the right client, and even when you're not online, it's selling for you. It's animated, it's real, it's personalized. And again, that is what our target customers desire from us. There are definitely some new trends in social media that help to enhance new client acquisition and member retention. And I've got some news for you. It has nothing to do with being their friend, and this may shock you. I remember 5 to 10 years ago, and many of you probably remember as well, everything was about creating these likes, right? Getting someone to like you on Facebook. Now it's 2017, and unfortunately, likes mean nothing. It is a fully pay-to-play policy with Facebook, and what that means is it doesn't matter how many people have liked you or not, you have to pay to reach them, even organically. So this means that we've got to be a lot more innovative about our social media look and feel and how we reach people. And I've got some examples for you of clients that have done it right. So take a look at how dynamic this Facebook page looks. It uses a very low-cost app solution, and what I like about it is that it's absolutely custom to the business. So the videos are theirs. The call to actions are theirs. As you can see, they can change the colors of anything that they want to match their personal brand. And so I assert and ask you today, does your social media look like this? Is it clean? Is it actionable? Does it give a clear depiction of what your business does? And does it utilize things like video and clear buttons and calls to action to help clients to do more than just scroll, but actually click and move forward with whatever it is you want them to do? Book a class, come in for the first time, get a trainer. I've got another example for you of a more simple, streamlined version of the page, and this is my own. I used Facebook and this particular app to create a lead funnel for myself, and I'm willing to bet that there's at least a few of you that have considered creating a lead generation site or a special page to create interest in your business. Why not use their social media for it? It can be done very cost effectively, very easily, and what I love about it is that there's just a very clear, streamlined call to action. Click here, enter your information, learn more. In fitness, I think we sometimes overcomplicate things for our end user, and they need and desire direction. I always give the example of my little dog. He goes everywhere with me, and what I love about my little puppy, his name is Caramel Frappuccino, just in case you're wondering. He loves rules. He loves direction. He loves knowing what's important to me so that he can please me. And it actually seems kind of counterintuitive, but our clients desire that as well. If they knew how to train themselves, they wouldn't be coming to us. If they knew what they needed to eat correctly and desired to do so, they wouldn't be coming to us for advice and for services. So it's actually really essential that we provide clear call to action through our social media, through our search engine marketing, through our website, to help our clients to know exactly what to do to be successful from step one, and that's likely to work with us. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit to the other two aspects that I'd like to talk to you today, and that's your PR, your media, your publicity. And oftentimes, it's thought of that you have to be on a large national TV show to get influence in this area, but I actually believe that being a local expert is way more essential to many of our fitness businesses. If you reach clients nationally and internationally, then perhaps that's a great part of your strategy. But I believe that if we own our niche, and we own our local market, there are countless opportunities for you to be featured in local media, whether it's newspapers, magazines, TV, but more importantly, local bloggers. They have a grassroots route to our potential customers that many of these other media do not, because it's absolutely done from a framework of someone who's more collegial versus advertisement-based. You can obtain free local publicity quite regularly, and you can use it for your benefit by reaching out to these local bloggers, creating a list of who in your market is influential, maybe some potential businesses that you can cross-promote and multiply your service offering to and your business offering to. And I think the mindset I'd like to provide you with today is that local is king for fitness business. Again, unless you're one of the few that's delivering services to people throughout the world or throughout the nation, it's less important to be on a Dr. Oz, perhaps, and more important to be on your local Fox or your local NBC and helping more people in your local community to find you in this way. And that is, by the way, a fully free, cost-effective opportunity for you. Going along with that, I think it's important to understand how we can utilize community outreach to help us to be more strategic and to extend our reach organically. Again, this goes down to the simplicity of connecting with community partners, and that should lead to new clients. And the reason for that is that the right community partner shares the same client base. So understanding, if you are a yoga studio, you're probably better aligned with a juice bar, with a Lululemon, with a local boutique than you are with a big box gym oftentimes. It's just a different mindset. It's a different type of client. And so in order to make community partnerships really seamless and strategic, we have to consider the fact that where we're strong, there are other community partners that are equally as strong, and those are the people that are going to help us to extend our reach very strategically. When it makes sense, another really influential and up-and-coming use of your marketing is dynamic pricing. And this is a bit controversial, so I'm going to ask you to stick with me a little bit. At the end of the day, we're professionals, and I know we've worked very hard to create an amazing service or product offering, and it's cutting edge oftentimes, and it costs quite a bit to deliver. But I think it's really important to remember that there is such thing as group purchasing power, just like BOGO at your local community grocery store takes a really great high-end product and makes it affordable for people to try. I assert we have the same opportunity in our business. And that can be based on capacity needs. Perhaps there's a time of day, or I would say definitely there's a time of day where we're not as busy in our business line, and we're able to offer maybe discounted rates for 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m. training sessions, and help offset that cost when there's nothing going on in our gym or studio. That's how you're going to maximize your revenue per square foot and help you to be more successful on the profitability side. If you think about what we do in our industry, there are peaks, right? We have a seasonal business starting in January, and then every month after tends to get a little bit smaller. Same thing with our timing. We have certain days of the week that are more influential, certain times of the day that we get more customers in the door. But if we do it right, if we're strategic and we use capacity as our goal and as our guide, you can actually be really creative and dynamic with your pricing to help you to build your bottom line while still offering amazing, effective services. So I'm going to spend some time helping you to devise an action plan today, and then we'll have time for some additional questions. I want you to think about your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this is something you can do either right after the webinar today, or maybe take a couple of days to think about it. Take a grid and write your strengths on the top left, weaknesses on the top right, opportunities on the bottom left, and threats on the bottom right. It's important that about quarterly we spend some time understanding how to position our business for long-term growth. And a SWOT analysis, which is what that is, a strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis, is going to be tremendously influential to help you to understand how to grow your business, or maybe for some of you today, how to start your business. The next step, once you have a real understanding of your strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat, is to create a 30, 60, 90-day action plan. And I'm all about action, utilizing some key action items to hone in on your next step. That's going to be key to help you to understand what measures of success we should be using, how to monitor and track them, going to help you to focus on growth opportunities that will be most beneficial to your business, and then, of course, how do you utilize your search engine marketing, your social media marketing, your internet publicity, your local publicity, and strategic business relationships to lead to consistent warm leads for your business, to help you to find the right fit in your target market. And that's really what matters to us. So to give you a picture of what this looks like, it's the strategic planning cycle of any business. It's just that so many times in our industry, we don't quite take the time to do it or do it as in-depth as we should. So we want to think about where exactly do we want to be? What do we want to do with our business or our personal goals? Create desired outcomes based on that, and then ask ourselves, how do we get there? From that, we're going to utilize strategies and measure and target those strategies to our core customers so we know the success that we have and we know where we're lacking. Then, as we have that information, we measure and look at those results and we ask ourselves, what is our next step? How can we improve? At the end of the day, all of this is circled around our mission, our vision to help more and more people, and to be strategic in our analysis and our desire to grow, because as a business, that's really what matters. So I must ask you, now what? We have knowledge, we have desire, but there's so much more that goes into making your business grow. And so the key to this entire presentation can be drilled down into a few quick statements. Use your strengths. So many times we focus on our weaknesses and we spend time in areas that we're really not strong, when there are things that we are good at doing, things that we feel extremely motivated to do, that we will have a higher likeliness of productivity, higher likelihood of success, better retention of our clients and employees, because everyone is in line with our vision. And so for a very long time now, I've been following this idea of being strategic, prioritizing our goals, and play to our strengths, and I help my clients to do the same thing. I find it to be essential, and there's one resource that I'd like to leave you with today. And this resource is absolutely helpful. It's a book by a very well-regarded and well-known business coach. His name is Marcus Buckingham. And this is so essential for us in the fitness industry. It's called Go Put Your Strengths to Work. So if I can break it down into just a few key snapshots for you to think about today as you go to create your plan and you go to consider your next steps. The first is to break through the myths. So oftentimes we tell ourselves, I can't do this, I can't do that, or this is important to me, but I'm not sure. So we have to think, what's stopping us? What's keeping us from growing? What's keeping us from being that person in that business that we desire to be? Once you know that, you're clear. So then you have to understand, what are our strengths? Where can we really take this and exponentially provide it to more people and exponentially grow our bottom line? And then for your strengths, how can you make the most of them? How can you take those strengths and replicate them in other aspects of the business? Stop your weaknesses, and this is important. How can you stop what you're not good at without completely hindering or hurting your business? And I'll give you a quick example of this, because in our industry, I think we often try to be Jacks and Jills of all trades. And maybe perhaps it's more important to focus on one or two product and service offerings that we do best. Maybe it's just focusing on group instead of individual. Maybe it's just focusing on a specific type of sport or type of exercise and not being a one-size-fits-all. And so that can be very scary, and I want to liberate you today that you can make those shifts in your business. The next one is to speak up and create a strong team, create a strong landscape for you to be building your business for the long term. And that comes from having awesome people in the administrative side, as well as the targeted tactical trainer, the trainer who not only delivers a great service, but knows how to connect or spend time with your members and your regular attenders in a way that's influential for them and desires them to come back. And then the final is to build strong habits. How can you make this particular goal last forever, right? If the goal is to be profitable and the goal is to be successful, how can we be that year over year over year? And spoiler alert, it's doing these 6 things. It's focusing on putting your strengths to work and letting your weaknesses do what they can to help support where you're strong. So that's my focus. My focus is always going to be to help you to make your business strong. And I'm really excited to get to talk to you today with just a high-level overview of the business of fitness and how to make your business stronger, or how to go out there and start thinking differently about the business that you desire to create. I'd like to offer to anyone who's interested a free consultation with me. You can actually set it up all digitally through my website at kkhart.com/strength. And know that wherever you are in the process, it's so important that you start thinking strategically and utilizing your strengths to be wherever it is that you want to be. That's where we're going to be strong and help as many people as we can in our industry. So I would love to open it up for questions and see if there's anything that I can answer for you, and maybe drill down a little bit if we have a few minutes left over.
Hey, KK, this is Nate. While we wait for some questions, I do have a couple that came through that you may not have seen. One of which is, do you have any strategy or advice on how to generate local PR. Is it reaching out to the local TV health reporters or the local newspaper health beat reporters? Any advice on local PR strategies?
Absolutely, and that's a great question. It's actually how I started. I started as a local fitness expert, transitioned to a local business expert, and then went out to the national. And so the key here is actually defining who you'd like to reach. I'll be honest with you, it seems like TV is the easy slam dunk, but if you think about your local market, it may be that radio is a really easy first step, especially if you live in a large metropolitan market. Radio, you get a lot more time, about 10 to 15 minutes versus TV, which is about 2 to 3 if you're lucky. Radio, their formats are a lot more dynamic, so they're constantly looking for new content. But more importantly, if you live in a highly densely populated commuter area, maybe the New York Cities, the Chicagos of the world, that is an area where people are spending time in their car, and radio is the only media that you can reach them on in that time. The second that I think is most influential for local business, and specifically in our industry, are the industry influencers. So those are the people who are blogging, who are Instagram influencers, who are on Facebook constantly talking about their experiences, and that's often extremely overlooked. We often think that we've got to have a big endorsement, right, by a large name or governing body to help our business to be more visible. But again, I really believe these influencers, they're capturing the mindset and the interest of the target lay consumer, which is who we really desire to come in. So I would say radio is often overlooked in most large markets and even smaller markets, followed up by local bloggers. And then the last would be to utilize your newspaper and TV connections through their calendars. So even more influential than being on TV or being in the newspaper, many of your local TV stations and newspapers have like ongoing calendars that people in the community look for things to do for. So if you host a regular boot camp or a regular event or an open house, you can actually get your name out there very easily. Oftentimes it's free and open to the public to add their free event or their low-cost event, and that's going to give you some awesome local reach, way better than any 2-minute segment can.
Good stuff there. Another question came in. It's kind of a long one. It's kind of a 2- or 3-part question, so I'll try to summarize as best I can. But it's relative to Instagram and then hashtags as well. So is there any advice on how to leverage Instagram to promote your business, and then also the use of hashtags?
Yes and yes. So Instagram is the fastest growing social media that we have to date. And I'll tell you that if your fitness business is not on Instagram, you're missing a huge market opportunity. So that's the first thing. The differentiator for Instagram that makes it more strategic and better than Facebook, even Twitter, or even Snapchat, is the use of the hashtag. Hashtags are how people find you. And I'll tell you guys a quick story. Oftentimes I see hashtags widely underutilized and poorly utilized. So a hashtag is nothing more than an index. It's a search term. So if you think of it that way, hashtag, this body can do great things is not really something that's searchable, but hashtag fitness, hashtag strength, hashtag bar, hashtag nutrition, that is how people will find you. So hashtags are meant to use almost as like your search engine key terms versus just like cute, catchy phrases, which I think is really interesting because most people use it as the latter. The second thing is that Instagram is that highly visual media right now that everyone is sensationalizing. And so when we talked about social media marketing, we talked about the fact that videos are the way that your business can sell for you when you're not selling. And so appropriate use of videos in Instagram can absolutely help you to be seen more, help you to stop the scroll, and help people to kind of really find your business and to generate interest. Because at the end of the day, what is a client really interested in doing in our industry? They want results, they want to know what you're about, and they want to know how it's delivered. What better than a video to show exactly what they're going to experience when they come in? And that can be no more than 60 seconds. 30 seconds tends to be the most played, so about half of a 60-second video will be shown. But that's essential to our industry where right now there's a lot of noise, right? There's a lot of different versions of what someone is offering. There's a million different competitors. There's large and small. And so this is how you're going to differentiate and own your voice. And that's the last thing I'll say about social media, but also specifically about Instagram. It's a highly targeted way to own what people see about you. Versus if you're using traditional media, you're waiting on someone else to deliver your message. With Instagram and other social media, you're creating the message for them persistently and accurately. And I can't say enough how essential it is for fitness business.
Great. Thanks again for all that great advice. So we're running up on the end of our time here. I know we got a slew of questions here at the end. Again, what we'll do is we'll take these questions, I'll share them with KK, and we'll devise a little blog that we'll put on the ACSM.org and the ACSM certification website. So if you did ask a question, don't worry, we'll get to it, just maybe in a blog format. So with that, I want to thank everybody again for attending. As a final reminder, an email with a link to the CEC along with a recorded version of today's webinar and a copy of the PDF slides will be emailed to you tomorrow afternoon. So be on the lookout for that. And again, KK, thank you very much. I think it was very informative. I know I learned a lot personally, and hopefully everyone out there did as well. So this concludes the webinar, and hopefully everyone has a great afternoon.